Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, here to help you find your most unwavering love, beauty, and kindness for yourself inside and out. I will be teaching you nutrition and macro tracking secrets, reverse diet and metabolism health tips and tricks, and motivating the heck out of you so you want to leap up and start conquering your goals right away. I am here to help bring you the light at the end of the tunnel so you can discover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible. So grab a pen and a piece of paper, or if you're in the car or at the gym, go ahead and bump up your volume just a little so we can drown out those gym grunters next to you, and we can go ahead and dive right in. Don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook by simply doing a 5-star rate and review on this podcast. All you need to do is submit a 5-star rate and review, then send us your name and email through the link in the show notes so we know exactly where to send your cookbook. By submitting your 5-star rate review, this will also automatically enter you into the weekly podcast macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my See You Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely winner who leaves an awesome 5-star rate and review. This winner is announced every week on my Instagram story as well as my newsletter email list. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I'll see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful, beautiful peach? I am super excited to dive into today's episode. Today, we're going to be talking all about unlearning the diet mentality, which is something that a lot of us do experience, especially in today's world, to really help us get out of that restrict and binge cycle. To take that a little bit further, it's the restrict. Then we go into the binge because we were not able to maintain that restriction, which oftentimes is followed by the food guilt, that overwhelm of, oh my gosh, I have now just totally gone off track. And then we feel like we have to start over again. And that cycle will play on repeat until something changes. So I would love to walk you through my personal experience as well as my nerdy experience and take a deep dive for this with you. So first and foremost, I actually see the diet mentality of 3 different mental layers, especially when it comes to that restrict and binge cycle. When we are looking at the impact of the diet mentality on our overall quality of life, there's going to be one main outer layer that is a little bit easier to see and something that we can kind of identify a little bit quicker. Now, we may have been dieting for 1 month, we may have been dieting for 10 years, we may have been dieting for decades, multiple years. I have some women who come to me who have been dieting for 30 years, 40 years, and they're in this space where they're like, hey, nothing has changed. I don't know what's going on. I want to be free from the yo-yo weight loss, up and down, that restrict, that binge cycle. So what's really important to note is the one thing that holds true is the quality of life while we are dieting is different than the quality of life when we are feeling good in our body, where we are seeing results, and when we are out of that diet mentality. This is actually something that's very interesting. 90% of dieters do experience weight regain and often even gain more back than what they lost during that diet. So you're losing some weight during that diet, you're learning this diet mentality, and then when you're not able to maintain with that diet, you will gain the weight back and then some. Now, some of you might be sitting there nodding your head being like, yes, I've experienced that. Oh my gosh, let's talk about it. So let's talk about this. 99.9% of the time, we are catering to the rules of this diet, okay? Now, this basically means that we are changing our life to fit in this box of whichever diet we are doing. Keto, for example, we don't eat as many carbs. So maybe if we weren't doing keto, we'd say, hey, yes, I love those carbs. Yes, let's get the burger. Yes, let's eat those fries. However, when we do keto, we're starting to dive into this diet box where carbs are off limit. We cannot eat carbs. Then we have something that's like intermittent fasting. This means that we have to cater to the rules of intermittent fasting. We've now gone from that low carb into the rules where we have to be eating in a certain amount of time. And now we're following new food rules, new diet rules. Then there's something like Whole30, right? Same thing. You're going into a different diet box. When you think about all of the diets in the world and you imagine each of those diets having their own specific box, it gets to be a little bit crazy because you imagine a million different boxes, each one of them having their own food rules. And the one thing that is missing, the one big problem here that is causing people to jump from box to box, rather than having that full sustainable weight loss, that food freedom, that thriving metabolism, is that we are catering to each of those boxes and the rules that they give us when we come into that diet, rather than something catering to us and the way that we live our life and our metabolism and our body and the food that we like to eat. So the problem starts to become more than just following the rules of this box. It actually becomes more of a lifestyle that we start to live. And as we're going from box to box, right, from diet to diet, we're starting to pick up food rules from each of those diet boxes. And we're starting to create our whole new diet set of rules that we are living by, whether they're actually something that's helping us or not. And honestly, I would say probably like 10 out of 10 times, it's probably not actually benefiting you seeing that weight loss, having that healthy and thriving metabolism. What's actually happening is we are unintentionally starting to live by these rules. When you think about it, actually think about it this way. Let's say that if you are going out to eat and we see something like French fries, we're like, oh, nope, I shouldn't eat those. Those are bad foods, right? We start to think, oh no, that's a bad food. I can't eat that. Then, maybe we go get donuts with our kids and we're like, oh shoot, I really should not eat those donuts. That's going to cause weight gain. But is it really? Is it really? Where's the scientific proof? And the one thing that I talk about all the time is a lot of times we just kind of follow blindly into the diets without actually asking the what, the why, and how, which is why I thrive when I can teach you the what, the why, and how, and why we should be eating carbs. They're amazing for our energy balance. They are amazing for our sleep-wake cycle. Yes, we should be eating fat. They are phenomenal for hormonal balance as well as a secondary source of energy. And heck yes, of course we should be eating protein. We want that muscle growth and recovery. So we like all three of those, but it's also okay to eat sugar. It's also okay to have that glass of wine. And that's what's really big about the diet mentality, and that main layer that we're talking about here is the way that it starts to impact our life, we can visually see. And what happens is as these food rules become more and more present in our life, we start to follow that path. We start to go down that path, and the restrict and binge cycle starts to become kind of normal in our life. It's something that just happens. The restrict and binge cycle is that top layer that we're actually just living a life in. That's just become part of our natural day to day. The fear of weight gain when going out in those social settings. We say, hey, our friends want to go out to eat with us. And we're like, oh, shoot, okay, yes, I want to hang out. But you're already starting to think through, okay, I need to eat this in order to stay on track. I need to stay away from the carbs. I can't have a glass of wine. And we're starting to play into all of these food rules, all of these good food, bad foods, food rules that we've taken from all of these diet boxes, rather than saying, hey, yeah, I can have those fries and I can be on track. And the way that I'm going to explain this top layer is it's something that you can see, something that's happening in your day-to-day, something that's happening each week. So it's that restrict and that binge cycle. You can see it, it's happening. It is something that you are experiencing, and you can say, hey, yes, I have identified I am in this restrict binge cycle. Yes, I can identify that I am categorizing food as good food and bad food. Yes, I can identify that I am known to go into the pantry and secretly binge after dinner because I ordered a salad for dinner rather than the burger that I wanted. Now I just went home and I binged. And so it's these things in our life that we can actually identify, that we see that we're doing. It's the actions that we're taking that are impacting us from all of those different diet boxes, all those diet rules that we have now started to create our own diet mentality and the way that we live our life. I remember going on holidays. I talked about this in a past podcast episode, but we went to Disney World for my sister's 21st birthday. I always laugh about that because it's Disney. Yes, 21st. Yes, go drink around Epcot. Yes, you get to have the fun things. But I remember going on this trip and we went to Disney and Universal, and I remember being so terrified to even take a sip of the Harry Potter butterbeer. I remember we went out to lunch. I was desperate for a burger. I got a salad. And that's the thing, those experiences, as crazy as this may sound, on that trip, I don't actually remember the fun times with my family. I don't remember the rides that we went on. I don't remember those days as much I remember the fact that I ordered a salad after craving a burger. I have a vivid memory of handing the butterbeer back to my sister and saying, "No, I'm good. I don't want it. I'm full," after a couple sips. I was starving. I was not full. I wanted that butterbeer, but I was so scared of weight regain. I was so scared that the sugar in that would make me gain weight, would make me off track. And so it's really important to start to note, is this diet mentality starting to impact the way that you are showing up in your life, starting to impact making memories with your family, how you're feeling about yourself? Today, now being on the other side of things, it can kind of give you the two sides of the story. So I love Disney, I love Universal. I'm like little child skipping around the parks, having a grand time. And my husband and I live pretty close to Disney and Universal, so we go a couple times every year, and I have vivid memories now that I'm on the other side. I am free from that restrict and binge cycle. I am free from the food guilt. I can eat the food that I want and thrive. I have those fun memories. I have memories of skipping around the park. I have memories of the rides that we went on. I have the memories of making memories, right, with my husband rather than focusing on the food and the stress over the food. And there's this level of self-love that I have that I didn't have before, which is going to actually bring me into our second level here. A lot of times we only see these top layers. We only see this top layer of, hey, I'm struggling. Hey, I'm not happy in the quality of life that I'm living, but we don't know where the change comes from. And a lot of it does come from the science behind things, tracking our macros so we can know exactly what we're eating to make sure that we are giving our body what it needs, number one, but to adjust those macros to heal our metabolism, to reverse diet, right? That's what can be done to physically change our body composition, to give us that amazing body that feels so good. And also, we get to do the mental work. We get to do the internal work. I want to interrupt this oh so lovely podcast episode of mine to let you know that BPM, my beautiful Peach Mastermind, is open for enrollment. BPM is my high-level group coaching program for women who want to reverse diet to heal their metabolism from that restrictive burnout so they can lose the weight and keep it off for good. It is for women who want to increase their energy and joy for life so they can chase after their kiddos, go out to eat with their significant other, and even have wine night with the girls without that restrict, binge, and food guilt cycle. As a bonus, all of my BPM clients get complimentary access to my reverse diet course, where you will learn exactly how to adjust macros for reverse dieting on your own. This quite literally includes my own personal spreadsheets that help you customize your reverse diet for your success. I even threw in my alcohol plug-and-play tracker for you ladies. Go ahead and apply through the link in the show notes or hop over to my Instagram and feel free to send me the DM BPM sneak peek for my inside look of the program details. I can't wait to see your application and enjoy the rest of the episode. Which brings us to layer number 2. And this layer is one that a lot of times we don't even realize is there. It actually took me quite a while to hit the point where I was accepting and allowing myself to dig deeper into the second layer. I felt very uncomfortable the entire time as I was doing this inner work. And it's one of those things where we're so used to feeling comfortable in the diet industry, in what we are doing, in the binge restrict cycle, in keto, in doing all these things, that it's scary to do something different. And it's scary to do something that's out of our comfort zone. And it's scary to look at the layers underneath and have that conversation with ourselves that, hey, yeah, I need to change. Hey, yeah, I'm not happy where I am. So taking a deeper dive into the second layer, once we've accepted, hey, yeah, I am struggling. Yes, I binge. Yes, I restrict. I categorize food as good food and bad food. We can actually lean into the more raw and uncomfortable feelings that we have inside. So what happens is we have to start putting on that thinking cap and taking a deeper dive. And using that example too, right? Using the example from the TV show New Girl and Cece saying, hey, I've been doing so good. I've lost 3 pounds. The focus has been on when I lose weight, I will be happy. When I hit this number on the scale, I will be happy. And we're putting so much of our self-worth and so much of our happiness in the number on the scale. It's like a switch. Once I see that number on the scale, I will be happy. And the big problem with this is we are not actually taking a deeper dive in what might actually be the problem going on. There are often deeper feelings. Number one, we have, hey, I feel unworthy of happiness. I don't feel worthy of being happy. I feel really lonely. I just want to hit that number on the scale. That's what's going to make me happy. I can't trust myself to follow through. Like, I might just go self-sabotage. I might just go back to keto. I'm terrified of success. I feel unlovable. If I just hit that number on the scale, I will finally love myself. There are these deeper emotions and deeper feelings that are going on that the number on a scale cannot fix. We get to heal ourselves. It is amazing to feel phenomenal in our body. I help hundreds of women in my Beautiful Peach Mastermind heal from the inside out. They are healing their body. They are seeing these physical changes and also doing the internal work so you can make this a long-term change. Now, the third layer here, so to do a quick recap, we had the first layer is what we can see. And so feel free to grab a pen and a piece of paper and identify these, okay? So writing it down, number one, step one, what can you visually see? Are you binging? So good food, bad food thoughts, the restrict, the binge, the stress over thinking I should not eat this, right? It's gonna cause weight gain. Second layer is what's going on underneath. And that one can be a little bit tough. It is a little bit uncomfortable to start thinking through those things, but a lot of times when we're able to actually start uncovering those rather than just shoving them under the rug, I will fully admit for many years, all of those underlying feelings, I did not think that I was worthy of love. I did not think that I was deserving of success. I did not trust myself to follow through. I self-sabotaged all the time. I was in this all or nothing mentality. I had a very large amount of inner healing to do until I decided I was going to change, until I committed to doing the hard work, to getting uncomfortable and to stop shoving all of my feelings under a rug. That's when it started to change. It started to change when I said, hey, we're going to just gently remove this rug. We are going to gently take those Band-Aids off and we're going to start to heal. My lowest low is my freshman year of college. I was quite truly miserable. I hit rock bottom to the point where I had friends from different colleges that actually came to check in on me because I was at this very low place. And it led me to hire my first coach, and she changed my life, which actually led me to obviously go get my bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics. I have my master's degree in exercise science and sports nutrition. And I wrote my master's thesis on the human metabolism and healing from the diet industry, healing our mentality, the impact of our mentality from the diet industry. The title is kind of long, so I just kind of say it that way. It kind of makes me laugh sometimes. But what people don't actually know is I was on a path to become a dentist. My major was biology my freshman year. And when I hit rock bottom, I actually changed my major to nutrition and dietetics to stop blindly following all of these diets without having the education behind what was going on. I actually had the intention to go work in a hospital as a registered dietitian. And when I graduated from college, from Clemson University, I went on to get my master's degree in exercise science. That's where I started to learn about the human metabolism. That's where I started to learn about the crazy impact of dieting on our mentality, but also dieting makes us binge. When we are in a massive restriction, our body actually goes into starvation mode because it cannot determine that we are intentionally putting ourselves into a calorie deficit versus we are out in the wilderness, we are starving. So our body's natural reaction is to actually go into a protective mode, to try and go into the survival mode. That's why we see weight regain. That's why our body actually, our brain is signaled to binge. And it's incredible when we have the knowledge and education behind what's going on. And I'm not saying you need to go to school to learn everything that I've learned, right? It was over 6 years of education, but that's why I do what I do. That's why I am here to help educate you. So if you stick around, you can learn a thing or two. But bringing us back to leading into this third layer, okay? So we've got that first layer, the things that we can visually see. We've got that second layer, the underlying emotions that we get to heal, that we get to remove the rug and we get to start healing. And the third layer, this one is wild to me that I personally also experienced, and it's something that you might be experiencing now. The diet mentality makes us feel safe, and it's crazy to think that way, but it's all we know. We've done it for so long. It's what the world does. It's what we see all over social media. It's what we see actors and actresses doing. Is it the right path? Is it going to lead you to seeing endless success? No, but it feels safe. When we think about dieting and we think about how long we've been dieting, comparing it to something that we do on repeat. So when we drive to work, we start to know that path really well. We don't have to look at our directions anymore. We just do it. Just go. Easy. When we are brushing our teeth, we don't have to think about it. It's natural. It's easy. It just happens. Dieting is the exact same way. It becomes so natural in your daily life. It becomes the safe routine, the easy routine, even though it's not the right routine. So what happens is if we've done keto, so cutting out our carbs, we've done it 10 times before. We know exactly what needs to be done. We know we are not eating carbs. We know the steps to follow. We don't have to unpack anything deeper, right? We don't have to feel those emotions. We can just keep shoving them under the carpet. We know very well deep down that this is not the right path for us. It is the safe path, so we continue down that path. Learning and getting out of our comfort zone is scary. We don't know which direction to go. We don't have that education behind what needs to be done to have that sustainable result. So we go right on back into keto. And medical weight loss is actually one that I see all the time. It feels easy. There's no unpacking that needs to be done. There's no pill and you should lose weight, which is so incredibly false. The number of clients that I work with coming from medical weight loss, coming from diet pills that make them feel terrible, queasy all the time, not good for your body. The second you stop them, you're going to have weight regain. Likely while you're on them, you're going to plateau. We can heal our body through truly food. We get to heal from the inside out without having to fit in some diet box, okay? It gets to fit into your life. It gets to be sustainable. It gets to be maintainable. It gets to be educational, and it gets to be enjoyable. This is what all my courses and my Beautiful Peach Mastermind is built around, because we want to have something that's fitting naturally into our life. So as I'm going through this, as you are listening to any of my podcast episodes, always come back to those 4 pieces, okay? It gets to be something that we can go out to eat and we can enjoy the food that we love. We can travel and not feel like we're getting off track or stress out before the trip. It gets to be maintainable. It gets to be something that's not going to be cutting out any foods. Therefore, it fits naturally into our life. If somebody told me that I could not eat sugar, I would say, no, bye, not for me. If someone told me I couldn't have my glass of wine, not for me. If it's something that's not going to fit naturally into our life, it's not going to last. Educational, we get to know the what, the why, and how. We do not need to be following diets blindly. That is a no, no, no. And last but not least, enjoyable, right? If it is not enjoyable, you will not follow through. Here is the biggest piece to really take in as we are closing up this episode. You may not want to be unpacking this, and here's the thing. I get it. I feel it. If you are feeling uncomfortable right now, I'm actually glad. That was the intention of this episode, because I want you to have this realization, whether it leads you to taking action today, or maybe you need to sit on it. And I hate to say this, I don't want you to sit on it for another year. I want you to take action. And it can be scary, but we get to stop pushing our emotions under the rug. We get to stop pushing the fact that we need deeper healing and shoving that under the rug. We need to carefully pull it out, which is why I really love what I do. I love coaching, because it allows me to support you in a way that allows you to have the comfort of knowing I have been through this. I have hit absolute rock bottom. I remember actually coming home from college once, and I sat on my mom's lap as a college student after a very bad binge, to where I was feeling terrible. I sat on her lap and I cried and I cried and I cried. I feel the pain that I felt, and I said, I want this to stop. I want to be happy. I want to be better. And she said, you will. This is me telling you right now, you will be better, but you have to support yourself. You have to do that deeper healing. You have to ask for help when you need it. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust getting uncomfortable. To give you some more examples, some case studies here, I talk about my own personal journey all the time. And also, all of the clients that I work with in my Beautiful Peach Mastermind are going through this journey as well. Some may not have to do as much healing. Some others do have to do a lot of healing. So I actually asked my VPM clients for tips, knowing that I was going into recording this podcast episode. And I said, what are your top tips for anyone who is struggling with the diet mentality, the mentality of knowing you want to reverse diet, but you're scared, right? Fearful of that weight regain, struggling with body image a little bit. And so I've got a couple of them that I'm going to read back to you. And I want you to also listen to their tips and tricks, because they're really powerful. She said, reminding yourself that all the wonderful things that your body does for you, knowing that this process will ultimately lead you to a better body and a stronger mind. She said, I remind myself daily that my body has moved me through a half marathon, has carried 2 babies. She said, I'm thankful for what I have done and will thank my body for finding new health through the reverse diet. So she's focusing in on a reverse diet. And then she brought a little piece back to the BPM. She said, my advice is to keep leaning into the wonderful BPM community that Caitlen has created. We can all learn from and support one another. Jess, also reverse dieting. She said, I've been on this reverse diet path for a couple months now. She said, longest I have ever stuck with something because it actually fits my life. I'm so used to the instant gratification world, so I get to remind myself that this is a journey, not just a quick fix. She says, I am eating well over 800 calories from when I started. My weight range has maintained. How freeing. So good. Vicky, she said, this program is built different. I tell anyone to think back to why BPM appealed to you compared to the last program you did. There's a reason for that feeling. Lean into it. We still jump into every program thinking, I'm going to lose weight right away. And often that can be where our downfall happens. It can still be a goal, but the route to get us there isn't always what we think it is. It takes time, but man, is it worth it. She said it's a hard shift to make when the diet culture is shoved in your face all day, every day, but being able to enjoy pasta, fries, pizza, and not feel guilty or gain weight is amazing. I'm eating more, I'm eating better, I'm not binging, I have less cravings. Marie, eating 573 more calories now, haven't binged in 5 months, and I actually see my own self-worth for the first time in years. It's freeing. So good. She feels her self-worth. It's so exciting. But how did I get here? I did exactly as Kate always challenges us. Commit to ourselves. Commit to putting in the work to do the healing even when it's scary. Don't run. That one we can all hold on to. She said, I'm so proud of myself for not running from my own success. LJ, she said, my favorite thing about this program is how much knowledge I've gained through unlearning diet and fitness myths. I've always thought eating healthier would solve my problems, but it always felt so intimidating and restricting. Now I know that I can enjoy the foods that make me happy and build muscle, change my body. I'd also appreciate the mental growth that comes from doing a reverse diet. I have never been a patient person, but the mindset shift has been real. Now I understand why everybody is unique and needs a unique strategy. I'm like sitting here smiling because I actually forgot some of these. And they have wins in their own. So they all came from my Beautiful Peach Mastermind. But I think what's really important about each of these is they actually brought up the shift in their perspective, the shift in themselves, the shift in the way that they are showing up for themselves. And the internal work that they're doing is not only helping them to feel amazing in their body, to take their self-worth back, to feel loved, to feel really good, and to take that rug off and start healing, but it's also going hand in hand with that physical change, with healing their metabolism, with seeing those long-term changes. What's really phenomenal too is a lot of these women, Ashley, for example, I believe she's down 16 pounds at this point. Jess, I think she was eating over 800 calories. She is now down 15 pounds or so. Marie down is like 45. She's almost to her 50 point. It's important to make sure that you are leaning into long-term change, leaning into healing from the inside out, and really, really unlearning the diet mentality so you can heal from that restrict-binge cycle, heal your relationship of food. Big ol' episode here. Take a deep breath, everyone. Let it out. My heart's so full recording this episode because it was a very loaded mental episode. And for anyone who's listening to this, I am so proud of you because you are doing the work already by showing up, by listening to these episodes. It is clear that you want to see these changes happen, and my heart is so full for you. As always, I am here for your support. You are welcome to apply to my Beautiful Peach Mastermind. You are welcome to DM me and say, hey, here's what's up. I've got all my resources down below in the show notes. You can also just pop over to my website. It's all going to be there as well. And I'm always here for you. So with all this, we're going to wrap up this episode, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye, my beautiful peach. Don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook by simply doing a 5-star rate and review on this podcast. All you need to do is submit a 5-star rate and review, then send us your name and email through the link in the show notes so we know exactly where to send your cookbook. By submitting your 5-star rate review, this will also automatically enter you into the weekly podcast macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely winner who leaves an awesome 5-star rate and review. This winner is announced every week on my Instagram story as well as my newsletter email list. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I'll see you in the next episode.